Let's get right into it. Number 1. The Titanic's forgotten fire. You already know the Titanic story. Giant boat, unsinkable, ice cube goes boop. Suddenly 1,500 people are swimming in the North Atlantic. That part's been memified to death. But here is what the history books conveniently skip. The Titanic was already in deep trouble before it even left the dock. Buried deep in one of the coal bunkers was a massive smouldering fire. Not a little smoky barbecue in the corner. We're talking flames eating away at the steel hull for days. Passengers boarded, luggage was carried, champagne was poured, and meanwhile the crew was like, "Don't worry, folks, just ignore the inferno in the basement." That fire likely weakened the ship's steel on the exact side where, surprise, surprise, the iceberg struck. So instead of bouncing off like a drunk bumper car, the Titanic basically ripped open like a tin can. Historians debate just how much the fire mattered, but let S put it this way. If your car is already on fire when you start a road trip, your odds of making it are not great. The real forgotten truth. The Titanic wasn't just a victim of bad luck. It was also a victim of corporate shut up and sail. Basically, capitalism lit the match, and the iceberg finished the job. Punchline: the Titanic didn't just sink because of an iceberg. It was already preheated. Number 2. Pompeii's death pose. Pompeii. The ancient Roman city frozen in time, where archaeologists found people curled up in ash, mouths wide open in silent screams. It's creepy, it's tragic, it's basically the original disaster porn. But here's the twist. Those horrifying last moments. Not people caught mid-scream. Not at all. Those twisted, clawed-up poses are what's called pugilistic posture. Translation: when your body gets cooked at super high heat, your muscles shrink and curl into a fighting stance. So all those poor Pompeii victims weren't fist-fighting volcanoes. Their bodies were just cooking, like rotisserie chickens in an oven, only with more screaming. And let us be clear, most Pompeians didn't die from ash gently falling like snow. They died instantly in a 900-degree pyroclastic surge, a fire hurricane made of gas, ash, and death. One moment you're gossiping about gladiators, the next your lungs vaporize. Instant cremation, no funeral required. But the really weird bit? Because the ash preserved everything, we get this eerie time capsule. Bread still in ovens, graffiti on the walls, dogs chained in courtyards. It's like a paused video game where the NPCs never respawned. And for centuries people treated Pompeii as entertainment, like a freaky museum. Because nothing says family day trip like showing the kids some volcanic corpses. Punchline: Pompeii wasn't just frozen in time, it was pressure cooked. Number 3. The Halifax explosion. Okay, time for the oops my bad of disasters. Picture this. It's 1917. World War I is raging. 2 ships bump into each other in Halifax Harbour. One is carrying explosives, and not like a few crates of fireworks. We're talking 3,000 tons of TNT, picric acid, and other fun turn a city into dust chemicals. The collision ignited the cargo, and boom. Halifax basically got deleted. The explosion flattened 12 square miles. The shockwave shattered windows 50 miles away. People were literally blown into the harbour. One poor guy got launched clear out of his basement and landed 2 blocks away, still alive. Think Looney Tunes, but way less funny. Here is the messed up detail. Many people died because they rushed to their windows to watch the fire on the ship. Then the blast wave hit, and the glass turned into thousands of tiny guillotines. Doctors were pulling glass shards out of faces for weeks. And the cherry on top, a blizzard rolled in the next day, freezing the survivors who had just lost their homes. This wasn't just the biggest human-made explosion of its time. It was literally the biggest until the atomic bomb. But ask people today, and almost nobody remembers Halifax. Turns out history doesn't care how hard you blow up. It cares how good your PR is. Punchline: Halifax wasn't destroyed by war. It was destroyed by bad driving. Number 4. The London beer flood. Okay, let's start with something that sounds like a frat boy's fever dream. Picture this. London, 1814. A giant vat at the Moo and Company brewery bursts open, and the chain reaction smashes multiple barrels, releasing more than 300,000 gallons of beer into the streets. At first, people were cheering, because who wouldn't? Free beer river. Imagine opening your window and watching a tsunami of booze roll past. But within minutes, the vibe switched from party to horror movie. The wave of porter flooded homes, knocked over walls, and trapped people inside cellars. 8 people drowned in beer. Let me repeat that. Actual human beings died by drowning in alcohol, not because they were drinking, but because it literally invaded their homes like a tipsy Kool-Aid man. Doctors reported survivors smelling of beer for days. And London smelled like a brewery for weeks. Some people claimed you could still catch the faint scent years later. The press tried to frame it as quirky news, but imagine telling a grieving family their loved one's official cause of death was beer accident. This wasn't Oktoberfest. It was basically Guinness meets Godzilla. Punchline: London didn't flood with water. It flooded with happy hour. Number 5. The Peshtigo fire. You know the Great Chicago Fire, right? The cow, the lantern, the whole city burns down. It's got songs, books, and memes. But did you know on the exact same day in 1871, a far deadlier fire happened in Wisconsin? Welcome to the Peshtigo Fire, history's neglected middle child. The Peshtigo blaze consumed 1.2 million acres and killed somewhere between 1,200 and 2,500 people. That's more than double the death toll of Chicago. It burned so hot that sand turned into glass, and fire tornadoes ripped through towns. Fire, tornadoes, at the same time. Like nature said, what if we just combined natural disasters for fun? Here's the forgotten truth. Because Chicago was a major city and Peshtigo was a small town, newspapers basically ignored Wisconsin. Nobody wanted to hear about rural tragedy when they had a shiny big city disaster to gawk at. So while Chicago got its legend, Peshtigo got overshadowed. Survivors described rivers literally boiling, with people jumping in only to be cooked alive. Entire families vanished overnight, leaving nothing but scorched earth. And when word did get out, people thought it sounded too horrific to be true. But no, it happened. Peshtigo was the Michael Bay movie nobody bothered filming. Punchline: Peshtigo didn't just get destroyed, it got outshined by better marketing. Number 6. The dancing plague. You think TikTok trends are bad? Try living in Strasbourg 1518 when dozens of people suddenly started dancing uncontrollably in the streets. No music, no alcohol, no party, just pure unstoppable boogie fever. At first, people thought it was funny. Haha, look at them go! But then the dancers kept going, and going, and going, for days. Some collapsed from exhaustion. Some literally danced themselves to death. Heart attacks, strokes, total system overload. Theories: ergot poisoning, that's hallucinogenic fungus in rye bread, religious hysteria, or mass psychogenic illness, basically the 1500s version of going viral. Whatever it was, authorities decided the best cure was more dancing. They even hired musicians and built a stage, thinking it would dance the sickness out. Spoiler: it did not. It just made it worse. And here's the kicker. The whole town thought it was a punishment from Saint Vitus, patron saint of dancers. Which is hilarious. Imagine your heavenly duty is guardian of awkward flash mobs. The forgotten truth is that this wasn't the only case. Other European towns had similar dance plagues, though none were quite as deadly. It's like medieval Europe had its own cursed version of Just Dance. Punchline: forget dying from embarrassment. These people died from literally not being able to stop embarrassing themselves. Number 7. The Great Molasses Flood, Boston, 1919. A giant steel tank holding 2.3 million gallons of molasses, yes, the pancake topping, decides to explode. The result? A sticky brown tidal wave racing through the streets at 35 miles an hour. That's faster than most joggers. Imagine being chased down by breakfast. Buildings were knocked off their foundations. Horses were trapped and drowned. People were suffocated in thick syrup, literally stuck like flies in honey. Survivors said it was impossible to run because the molasses grabbed your legs like quicksand. One firefighter described trying to rescue people and just getting glued to the ground. And the smell? Oh, the smell. For decades after, Bostonians swore you could still catch a whiff of molasses on hot summer days. That's not charming. That's a trauma-sent memory. Imagine losing your home to a sugar bomb and then getting yearly nose reminders for the rest of your life. The forgotten truth. This wasn't some freak accident. The tank was badly built, leaking from day one. But instead of fixing it, the owners painted it brown to hide the drips. Because nothing says safety first, like covering your problems in matching paint. Punchline: Boston didn't get hit by a wave of molasses. Boston got hit by corporate negligence, disguised as dessert. Number 8. Chernobyl's forgotten hero, doggos. You know Chernobyl, 1986. Nuclear reactor explodes. Radiation cloud spreads across Europe. HBO gives us 6 episodes of nightmare fuel. But here's what most people forget. The dogs. When Pripyat was evacuated, residents were told to leave pets behind. Soldiers were later ordered to cull the animals so radiation wouldn't spread. But here's the thing. Dogs don't understand geopolitics. They hid, they ran, they bred. Against all odds, many survived, turning the exclusion zone into a radioactive puppy kingdom. Today, hundreds of their descendants still live around the ruins, scavenging, forming packs, and yes, occasionally getting fed by tourists and researchers. Scientists even track their genetics to study radiation effects. Some people think they've developed higher resistance, others just say they're very good at being scrappy strays. And here's the kicker. Despite warnings, people pet them anyway. Because who cares about gamma rays when a wagging tail wants love? The irony is, Chernobyl-esque dogs have become unofficial mascots of survival, little furry reminders that life finds a way, even in the shadow of meltdown. Punchline: the world's most famous nuclear accident, still less radioactive than the internet's love for dogs. Number 9. The Children's Blizzard. Picture this. It's January 1888 in the American Midwest. School just let out. Kids are happily trudging home when the weather flips like a switch. A blizzard roars in, sudden, brutal temperatures dropping below zero in minutes. The snow was so thick you couldn't see your own hand. Teachers tried to lead kids to safety, but the whiteout swallowed entire groups. Some kids froze just steps from shelter, buried in drifts. Others wandered aimlessly until their bodies gave out. By the time it cleared, over 200 people, most of them children, were dead. The tragedy was dubbed the Schoolchildren's Blizzard, which sounds like the title of a depressing indie film. And here's the forgotten truth. People weren't prepared because the morning had been weirdly warm. Families sent kids to school without heavy coats. Nature basically pulled a bait and switch. Hey, nice day, right?
But hey, maybe that's comforting in a dark way. That's all for today.
That's all for today. I'll be making more videos like this, so subscribe if you don't want to miss them.